Hello everyone, I welcome everyone to this new video. So in the polity section already we have covered all the important topics related to combined 3. But as you all know that combined 3 examination is conducting for the two posts, that is election inspector and revenue inspector. So I feel there would be 3 to 4 questions related to election for the election inspector post. Okay, so to understand the polity of uh, this election part, we have to read another topic, that is electoral process. Okay, so in that process we will know in India how the electoral structure is, how it works, what is the statutory backup. Okay, what are the rules and regulations of election, what are the procedures, what are the departments involved. Okay, everything. So let's get started. So in one video today we will only read about electoral process. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so first of all we should know what are the different provisions related to elections in Indian constitution. Okay, means what is the statutory backup by which law this election process, whole process take place. Okay, or what are the different acts that indirectly or directly involve in the electoral process. The first thing that we are going to study is Article 327. This is very important. You all should remember this article, Article 327. So basically, it enables the parliament to enact provisions for elections. Okay, so by this article only parliaments make different acts. For example, Representation of People Act 1950, Representation of People Act 1951. Okay, so these are the different acts which Parliament has passed. But what is the authority by which Parliament is able to pass these bills to act? Okay, so this is Article 327. So Article 327 enables Parliament to enact provisions related to elections. Okay, so accordingly Parliament enacted. So based on this Article 327, using this power, Parliament has passed several several article. Okay, several laws. Okay, acts. So what are those? Number one is Representation of People Act 1950, then Representation of People Act 1951. These are basically what is the rules and regulations for the total electoral process, how the elections will be held for Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha or Legislative Assembly, etc. Okay, then Delimitation Commissions Act, then Presidential and Vice Presidential Election Act 1952. So basically based on Article 327, these laws have been enacted by the Parliament. Okay, based on these laws this whole electoral process is completed. Okay, so now today we'll read everything about Representation of People Act 1950 and 1951. Okay, now next thing, so we are studying about provisions related to election in the Indian Constitution. So Article 327 allows the Parliament to enact provisions related to election. Then what is Article 82? So Article 82 also plays important role in Indian Constitution for election. Okay, so what does Article 82 says? Article 82 says it basically mandates readjustment of territorial constituencies after each census. Okay, so as you all know that after each census, the demography of a place is changed, like population of that area usually changes. So according to that population, the representation also should change. So after every census, there is a mandate to readjust the territorial constituencies. Okay, so that article 82 empowers to do so. So based on article 82, 84th constitutional amendment act, that is 2020-2001, frozen the readjustment until first census after 2026. Okay, so this is important. So in the exam they may ask which constitutional amendment act frozen the readjustment of readjustment of delimitation up to census after 2026. So it will be 84th constitutional amendment act. This is important one. Okay, next is article 329. So what does article 329 says? It says it basically deals with disputes related to elections. Okay, and dispute related to elections can be called only by an election petition. Okay, so in the election, if you are having any disputes, you cannot directly approach to the judiciary. For that, you can approach to judiciary, but by a election petition. Okay, and that petition has to be filed within 45 days of election. So this is important. Next we are going to talk about Representation of People Act 1950. So this is the basis of electoral processes in our country. So now what does this Representation of People Act 1950 says? Okay, what are the different salient features? So some features are, number 1, allocation of seats in Lok Sabha, Legislative Assembly, okay, and Legislative Council. Now you all will be knowing that what is Lok Sabha, what is Legislative Assembly, but some of you may not know this Legislative Council. So what is Legislative Council? In Hindi it is called Vidhan Parishad. Okay, so what is this? Like in the center, in the center it is Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Okay, upper house and lower house. So, but in the state, in the maximum number of states, it is only legislative assembly. Okay, but in some states, in some state there is legislative assembly as well as legislative council. Okay, so this Representation of People Act basically deals with the allocation of seats in Lok Sabha, Legislative Assembly and Legislative Council. Now do let me know in the comment section what are the different states which have Legislative Council. What is the total number of states and what are the states exactly? Okay, next, see, Representation of People Act also says, also create post or give responsibility to the CEO, Chief Election Officer or Chief Electoral Officer, District Electoral Officer, okay, etc. to conduct election. So they are empowered by this Representation of People Act 1950. They work on the basis of Representation of People Act 1950. So in the short, I will say RPA Act 1950. Next, another feature is electoral rolls. Okay, now what is electoral rolls? Electoral rolls is nothing but voter list. Okay, so it is prepared and revised before each general election by election. Okay, so basically electoral rolls are revised and updated before each general election. No amendment can be made after last date of making nominations for an elections. Okay, so in the electoral rolls, no amendment or no addition, okay, or any subtraction can be made after last date of making nominations for the elections. So these are the factual salient features. Next, Representation of People Act 1951. Okay. So now what does RPA 1951 says? Some salient features are: qualification for membership of Rajya Sabha. Now understand one thing. In 1950 RPA 1950, it talks about Lok Sabha, Legislative Assembly and Legislative Council. Okay, you can say these are one side. Okay, at the other side you can say Representation of People Act 1951 deals with qualification of membership of Rajya Sabha. Okay, so what does it say? Any parliamentary constituency in India. Okay, so if you want to be a member of Rajya Sabha, okay, if you want to be a member of Rajya Sabha, it says, okay, it says it is not necessary of that particular state where he is contesting. What does it mean? It means, suppose I am from Tripura, okay, and I want to contest from Punjab. So this act RPA 1951 allows me to do so. So anyone from any constituency in the country can uh, uh, can uh, can opt for that constituency. Okay, next is qualification for membership of Lok Sabha. Okay, membership of Lok Sabha. Now see, there are different qualifications, but we will not each and everything because those are not important for our exam point of view. Okay, so our exam point of view, few are important. Okay, so this RPI Act says, okay, you can contest for any Lok Sabha seat in the country, from any constituency. Suppose, for example, our present Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Shri Narendra Modi, he is from Gujarat, but his parliamentary constituency is Varanasi. Okay, so this RPA Act allows him to do so. Next, this act also says what will be the seat distribution for SC. Like, what is the qualification to fight for a SC seat? Means that this act also says that if you are SC, okay, and represent a community of that particular place, then only you can opt for that constituency, and same for ST. Next qualification for membership of Legislative Assembly, qualification of membership of Legislative Council. So these are the different features of Representation of People Act 1951. Here it also says a person cannot contest for more than 2 constituencies. This is important for your exam point of view. So a person cannot contest for more than 2 constituencies. So you have then you may have observed that big leaders, okay, the big political leaders, what they usually do, they usually fight from 2 seats. Okay, so it basically secures to win for their political party. Okay, so maximum number of 2 constituencies you can contest. Okay, so this is important, in the exam they may ask. So next thing that we are going to study is disqualification for MP and MLA. Suppose, what are the different criteria by which an MP or MLA can be disqualified. Okay. So first thing, that is conviction for conviction for certain offenses. So if you commit certain offenses, then you can be disqualified. Now, what are those offenses? Those offenses are untouchability, terrorist activities, involvement in drugs, corruption, sati, etc. There are many. Next, under IPC, if you involved in bribery, rape, etc., then also you can be disqualified. Then under RPA 1951, booth capturing, enmity between classes, etc. So if you commit these crimes, then you can be disqualified from your candidature of MP and MLA. Okay. Next is, if you are if you are if you if you are an convict of any case, and the imprisonment for more than 6 months, then also you can be disqualified. That is imprisonment for not less than 6 months for hoarding or profiteering, adulteration of food and drugs, or dowry. Okay. So remember one thing, in this particular case, this hoarding or profiteering, adulteration of food and drugs, or dowry. So in this scenario, if you are imprisoned for more than 6 months, then you can be disqualified. At the same time, in other cases other than these cases, okay, other than these cases, then if your imprisonment is more than 2 years, then your disqualification can be then you can be disqualified. And also that disqualification will last for 6 years. So here are two scenarios. If you are found guilty of these 5 crimes: hoarding or profiteering, adulteration of food or drugs, or dowry, in this case, if you are convicted and that is imprisonment for more than 6 months, then you can be disqualified. And in the other crimes, if you are any other crimes, if you are convicted and your imprisonment is more than 2 years, then you can be disqualified. And when you are in this case, imprisonment for any offense for more than 2 years, that time your disqualification will be last for 6 years. So this is important. Next, corruption practice, failure to lodge account of election expenses. Okay, so after election, if you fail to lodge election expenses, in that case also you can be disqualified. Next topic is election process. Okay, now this is important. Okay, this is very important. In the exam, they may give you 4 options. Okay, and they will ask you to arrange the election process in a sequential order. So that time you should know all the processes that involved, from starting from a point to concluding declaring the result. So understand the whole process of election. Okay, now first thing what is the in that process, that first thing that take place is delimitation of the constituencies. Okay, so now what is delimitation and what are the different different rationales of delimitation? I will not go into that. Okay, that is another debate. Okay, so just leave it there. Okay, so first thing that in the process of election process is delimitation. Second thing, after delimitation, preparing or revising or publishing electoral rolls, voter list. Okay, so first thing that in the election process is delimitation. Second step is, after delimitation, preparing the voter list. Next is, after preparing voter list, announcement of schedule of election. Okay, so in the news you will be seeing that uh, Election Commission of India declaring election. So that is basically announcement of election and also the schedule. Next, after announcement of schedules of election, model code of conduct. Okay, model code of conduct is a process. Next, after announcement of schedule of election, the date and the time that will be when the announcement of schedule of election will be declared, after that only the model code of conduct is uh, assumed to be acted. Okay, next is after model code of conduct, formal process with the presidential notification. So basically president uh, puts a notification regarding the election. After that, after notification, candidates can start filling their nominations. Okay, for the nomination purpose they have particular date. From so and so date you can file your nomination to the district election officer or district collector also sometimes. Next, nominations. After that, after filling up of nomination, this nomination is scrutinized by returning officers. Okay, after that the candidates will campaign. Okay, then campaign ends 48 hours before polling. Suppose today is election, so day before yesterday will be the last for campaign for the candidates, and last stage is counting of votes and declaration of votes as well as results. Okay, so this is the last step. So this is the whole process of election, you should know it. Okay, so they may ask in the examination to make them in sequence, all the electoral processes. Okay, next, now what is model code of conduct? Okay, what is model code of conduct? So basically model code of conduct does not have a statutory backing. Now what is statutory backing? Statutory backing is basically means it doesn't backed by any law of parliament, okay, or any act. So basically it is more a consensus driven code. Okay, next, after announcing model code of conduct, so what is the basically implications of model code of conduct? Model code of conduct is when Election Commission of India declares election, since then it is assumed to be that model code of conduct is enacted, and after announcing the model code of conduct, no schemes, project, jobs, recruitment, etc. can be declared by the ruling party, because if they declare that time, so it will be like they are bribing the population for votes. Okay, so this is basically a consensus based, and you cannot give any new. Usually after model code of conduct, you will be just doing the basic administrative official works. Okay, you cannot implement or you cannot announce any new things. Now next thing, so this was all about model code of conduct. Next is election machinery. Now what does it mean? It means total in electoral process, what are the different offices, what are the different posts that are involved to conduct the election. First thing that involves is Election Commission of India, that is ECI, Election Commission of India. Next is CEO, Chief Electoral Officer. Okay, Chief Electoral Officer, basically Election Commission of India is in country level. Okay, then CEO, Chief Electoral Officer, it is in the state level or UT level. Okay, next is DEO, District Election Officer. Okay, so it is in district level. Next is RO, Returning Officer. This is very important post. So returning officer is responsible for conduct of elections in the parliamentary or assembly constituency. Okay. Also, okay, and below returning officer one post is there of PO, presiding officer. So presiding officer with the assistance of polling officers conducts the poll at a polling station. So in the exam, if they ask in the polling station who conducts the election, it is presiding officer. Okay. District election officer appoints the presiding officer. So basically DEO, this DEO appoints the presiding officers. Okay. Presiding officers and the polling officers. Next is, so this was basically the total election process. Okay, these are the different offices that involved in the election process, that is also known as election machinery. So you should know what is the hierarchy. Okay, first is Election Commission of India, then Chief Electoral Officer, then District Election Officer, then Returning Officer, then Presiding Officer. Okay, next there are some other offices also. For example, observer. Okay, so Election Commission of India nominates officer of government as observers. Okay, so basically Election Commission of India appoints officers from the government. Okay, so they will be acted as observer. Okay, observer, general observer and election expenditure observer. Observer can be of two types: general election observer or election expenditure observer. Okay, you don't have to read in all in this depth. You just know that observer is appointed by the Chief Election Commission of India. Next is electoral registration officer. So ERO. So ERO, what is the function of ERO? ERO basically responsible for the preparation of electoral rolls for a parliamentary constituency. Okay, so this is important. So in the exam they may ask who is responsible for electoral rolls in a constituency. It is electoral registration officer. Okay, now see types of elections. Okay, there are many types of elections in all over the world. In different states, different types of election methods are used. Okay, in India also different types of elections, different method of elections are used. Now what are the different types basically? Okay, so now we'll study first important one. Okay, first, the most important is first past the post election system, that is FPTP. Okay, FPTP, first past the post electoral process. In this type of election, each voters votes to one candidate only. Okay, so each voter votes to one candidate only. Next, also known as plurality voting systems. And also, suppose there are 100% votes, one got 33%, one got 22%, one got 11%, and some nota, and some total this much only. So this winner is 33%. So this winner will take all, winner takes all. So this 33%, the person who will get 33%, he is the winner. So here winner takes all approach. So in this first past the post, winner takes all approach. So this term is important. So in the exam they may ask winner takes all. This approach is related to first past the post system, that is FPTP. Next is proportional representation, that is PR. Okay. So what is the principle of PR election method? All voters and all political groups deserves to be represented in the proportion to their strength in the electorate. Okay, so this is proportional representative. Now do let me know in the comment section, in India which type of election system is used. Okay, is both of the election system methods are used? If used, then where? What are the different places where the particular election method is used? Do let me know in the comment section. Okay. Next important thing is voter registration. Okay. Now eligibility, voter registration. If I want to register for the voter, if I want to register for vote, okay, then what is the eligibility? Means who can register for vote for in the electoral rolls. So article 326 says adult suffrage fixed the age of eligibility to vote for elections to Lok Sabha, Vidhan Sabha at 21 years. 61st constitutional amendment reduced it to 18 years. So you should remember. So article 326 says person above 18 years or 18 years can register for vote. Okay. Earlier it was 21 years old, and 61st constitutional amendment act made it change it to 18 years. So this is also important, this 61st amendment. In the exam they may ask, already they have asked, it is a previous year question, they have asked that which constitutional amendment act changed the voter age 18 from 21. So this is important one. Next is election campaign. Now see, in the election campaign, in total history of Indian election campaign, there are some important reforms. There are important timelines that we all should aware of. So in the exam, they may definitely ask one question from this timeline. So what is the timeline? Timeline is 1960. Model Code of Conduct was first introduced in Kerala. This is important. 1982. First EVM was used. EVM, electronic voting machine. From ballot paper to EVM we have shifted. 1985. Okay, 1985. Anti-defection law. Anti-defection law. Do let me know in the comment section which schedule of Indian Constitution deals with defection. Okay. Next. 1988 introduced voting age from 21 to 18. Now tell me what is the which number what is the Constitutional Amendment Act? Just in the above I have said it is 61st. Next, 2010 restriction on exit polls. So basically in 2010 restriction on exit polls have been imposed. Next, 2013 nota allowed. So these are very important dates. Okay, so they can definitely ask one question from this timeline only. You should definitely learn it by heart. Okay, now I have used the term exit poll. What is exit poll? Okay, and what is opinion poll? There are two things. In the exam they may also ask about this. exit poll is that after completion of election in a place, suppose a state UP, okay, so in the UP there will be total 7 phase of election, okay, suppose 1 2 3 7 8 9. So these are the different phases of elections, okay, 9 17. Suppose these are the different phase, okay, like these are the different dates, on 1, on 2nd, on 3rd. They have divided the entire state into different zones, and in the different zones the election will be held in different dates. So in the last date, that is on 17th, after completion of election, it is approximately 5 p.m. okay, but but according to situation it may change also, okay. So basically you say that after completion of election on 17th, okay, the anyone can publish exit poll, like after election what is the opinion of the general public, okay. It is basically post election survey conducted immediately after people have voted, okay. Now and here election commission has banned it in 2028. Election commission bans exit polls from the time the poll begins till half an hour after the polling ends. So when the polling ends, half an hour till the half an hour it is banned. So exit polls result cannot be published till the last round of election is over, that is here I explained 17. Now what is opinion poll? Opinion poll is pre-election survey to gather voters' views on a range of election related issues. So in before election you will be seeing that different news channels are approaching to people, general people, and asking about different issues of the elections, what are their demand or about their opinions, okay. So that is basically opinion poll. So these two term, exit poll and opinion poll, are also important. You should know when these tools are published or done. Exit poll after polling of last polling booth, and opinion poll is before election, okay, pre-election survey, also known as pre-election survey. Next is anti-defection law. This is important, anti-defection law. So 10th schedule, okay, 10th schedule deals with anti-defection in our constitution. So 10th schedule, what does 10th schedule says? 10th schedule to constitution introduced by 52nd constitutional amendment act. This is important one. So 10th schedule, that is anti-defection law, was introduced in the constitution by which amendment act? That is 52nd. So what is 10th schedule? It basically talks about disqualification on grounds of defection is finally decided by presiding officer of the house. Now see, in the defection case there are different technicalities, okay. Latest defection case you have heard famous, that is in Maharashtra, okay. So I'll not go into that because this is not important for your exam point of view. So from your exam point of view, you just know that the case of disqualification on ground of defection is decided by presiding officer of the house. Of the house means in Lok Sabha it is speaker, and in Rajya Sabha it is chairperson, okay, chairperson of the Rajya Sabha. Next, the decision can be challenged in the court, open to judicial review. So the decision of speaker and also the chairperson, it can be challenged in the judiciary, in the court, okay. Next, see, next there is important thing, that is criteria for state party status. See, there are two parties, there are two types of parties. One, we say that national party and a regional party. National party basically in the country level, and regional party means in the state level, okay, or in a area basis. So what is the criteria for state party status? So if my party has to get a state party status, what are the different criteria that it should follow? See, criterias are as follows. Number one, at general election here it is saying that Lok Sabha election, legislative assembly elections, okay, legislative assembly elections. Here, party has to won 3% of seats in a Lok Sabha, okay, 3% of seats. So if it is 100 seat, a party has to win 3.33 seat, but 3.33 cannot, 0.33 cannot be a seat, so it will be 4 seat. So out of 100 seat, if a party gets 4 seat, okay, in a legislative assembly, then then this party can be called as state party. Also remember that minimum has to be 3. Suppose if any states the total number of seat is very less, so in that case that party has to get minimum number of 3 seats, and maximum means 3%, okay, minimum 3% as well as minimum 3 seat. That 3% cannot be minimum less than 3. Next, party has polled minimum of 6% votes in a state, plus in addition 1 Lok Sabha or 2 legislative assembly seat, okay. So these are very factual things. Try to learn it, but I feel these are not important for prelims point of view, but it is important for mains point of view. So this time you can skip it, but to cover this, as I am covering this chapter, that is why I am explaining. Next, at Lok Sabha general elections, party has won, here general election means legislative assembly election, okay, not Lok Sabha, okay. General election in terms of legislative assembly, that is for MLA election, member of legislative MLA assembly election. Now at a Lok Sabha general election, okay, party has won 1 Lok Sabha seat for every 25 Lok Sabha seats allotted to the state. Also party has polled 8% of votes in a state. So these are just factual thing, important for mains, not for prelims. Okay, next is, this was for state party, okay, this is for national party, okay. I will not explain it, you just take screenshot or make your own notes, read it, okay, this is not important. Next, the important thing, that is expenditure limit for candidates in election campaign. Suppose I want to contest election, so I have a limit to my expenditure, okay. I cannot, according to the Representation of People Act, I cannot spend as my wish, okay. There are some limitations. Now there are two types of election, parliamentary elections or assembly elections. So in the parliamentary constituency, in bigger constituencies the limit is 95 lakh, and in the assembly constituencies is 40 lakhs, okay, and in smaller constituencies it is 75 lakh, and in the assembly constituencies is 28 lakhs. So now tell me, in Tripura's parliamentary constituency, now tell me, in Lok Sabha Tripura have 2 seats, okay. So for 2 seats, 1 seat will spend how much money? Okay, do let me in the comment section. And also, for assembly constituencies, a candidate can spend how much amount? Do let me know in the comment section for Tripura. Okay, for Tripura, how much a candidate can spend in a parliamentary constituency and in a assembly constituency? Do let me know in the comment section. Next, see, this was all for this electoral process. Okay, representation of people act and everything. Now one more current affair you should know, that women reservation bill. I forgot to discuss it in the current affairs section, but it is important for your exam point of view. That is women reservation bill. Okay, in women reservation bill, there is 1/3 reservation of seats for the women in Lok Sabha constituency and assembly constituency, and as well as in the NCT of Delhi, National Capital Territory of Delhi. Okay, so in these three places, women reservation bill will apply after. Okay, this will apply for 15 years. After every 15 years, the delimitation or a committee will change, and it will alternatively it will be done. So basically it is a reservation process done for women, 1/3 reservation of seats. Okay, so this was all for the polity. So now let me give you an overall understanding. I discussed about Tripura current affairs, Northeast current affairs, national and international current affairs. Okay, so basically current affairs section we have done 100%. Okay, next I discussed about polity. Okay, complete polity portion. Okay, and also I have analyzed the previous year question, and I have given you the important topics for reasoning, for maths. Okay, so you will do that. So overall English 20 mark you will prepare by your own. Then current affairs you can prepare from these, all these videos will be more than enough for current affairs videos. For polity videos. Okay, and Tripura and for Tripura and Northeast static GK also I have covered up to some extent, but also you have to cover from static books like King's. Okay, Tripura geography, Tripura's economy, these things you have to cover from other sources. Then you will practice reasoning and mathematics questions. So this was all for combined 3. Okay, no video will come for combined 3. So this is the last video. 2 more video will come. Okay, 2 more video. 2 more. One will be tomorrow or day after tomorrow about the cutoff mark. Okay, what will be the right attempt? Because see, no one can guess the cutoff mark before exam. Okay, it depends on many things, number of ports, then what is the difficulty level of paper, and etc, many things. But still, what will be the right attempt? What is that number, that magic number of questions that we should attempt in the examination? So I will make a video on that particular video, small video on that, and one video after the examination, that is answer key. Okay, after the examination I will publish a video related to answer key. So all the best everyone. So if you need anything, or if you feel any doubt, if you have any doubt, if you want to know anything, do let me know in the comment section. I'll be more than happy to help you. So that's all from my side for combined 3. Thank you everyone.